Hi and welcome. I'm Michelle Anderson of Clarinet Mentors. Today I wanted to share with you some of my favorite music at a variety of levels. In fact, right from beginning clarinet through intermediate to more advanced. This is by no means a list of the best music out there. It's just a sampling of a bunch of music that I really like, and I hope it'll give you some ideas. So I'm going to start with the easier music and kind of work my way to more advanced. Just to keep it simple for you, if you look in the write-up underneath this video, I'll put a PDF listing all of the material I'm talking about, and I'll break it down approximately by difficulty level. I'll also put a time code, so if you know you just want the advanced stuff, it'll tell you to jump to 10 minutes. That way you can just zoom ahead through this video to the spot that really is dealing with the level of music that you're interested in looking at. So I'm going to jump in with some very good beginning resources. If you're a total beginner on clarinet, there are a few things that come to mind. Definitely some people have written books just aimed exactly at the clarinetist, and I know there's some good resources out there. If you have a teacher who is showing you the good habit basics, how to sit, how to blow, how to shape your mouth, then any number of just the standard beginning band books work great. This one is the Standard of Excellence. It's one a lot of school bands use. What I like about them is they generally have very clear descriptions on how to put the instrument together, how to finger each note, how to read music. So they're not really designed specifically for clarinetists, but they work really well if you're getting that instruction elsewhere. And I should mention to all of you, if you really are at a beginning level, I do have an absolutely free resource for beginners, which is designed to help you play clarinet more easily. Here's a picture of it. And what you'll see there is that it comes with a whole set of videos to help you get started. So that would be great in conjunction with something like this book. Now, here's another one that is designed, the Gelper Clarinet Method Book 1, designed for newer players. Mr. Gelper was a professional clarinetist and teacher for many years, and he has some nice exercises in there. It goes a little bit more advanced than most book ones, but good solid book to use. Now, as far as just fun music to play, I have a few resources in mind. One of them I'm going to list as a series that has clarinet music right from beginning level up to the most advanced level. And it's put out by the Royal Conservatory of Music in Canada, and the preparatory level is the very, very easiest level. Most adults or students who are beginning could play a lot of this music in the first month or two of their playing. What I love about their repertoire books, they go from easy right up to quite an advanced level, and they're designed for clarinet, usually with piano accompaniment. So in the book, you'll get a clarinet solo part, you'll get the piano accompaniment, and there's a CD that has performance examples for you, and that's really valuable. So you get a chance to hear what it sounds like, and you can play along with the CD. So if you're really, really beginning, the preparatory level would be good. For most of you, not too far along, probably a level 1, I would also still kind of put roughly in the beginning category because they're quite playable and some really nice mixture of styles within that. All right, that's what I'm going to call my beginning level stuff. Oh, one other resource. There's a duet book that I love. It's called Tunes for Two. And this book, although it's a duet book, it's kind of classical music's greatest hits at a really, really easy level for clarinet. And if you were by yourself, you simply play the top line, which is the first part of the duet part, and it usually is the melody. So it stands alone quite well. If you happen to have a friend who can play along with you, they're great duets as well. So I would just put that in there as a great resource. I use it with all my beginning students, and I'll play along with them in lessons, but they sound great by themselves as well. All right, so moving up to now what I would call sort of the easier intermediate level books. Again, in the Royal Conservatory, I'm not going to show you at every level, but like level 2, probably level 3 would be worth looking at. Thea King has some solo collections, and volume 1 is a really nice one to go into this more accessible intermediate level. And basically she's taken a lot of well-known classical music, some from clarinet repertoire, some just from symphonic repertoire or other solo instruments. And again, it's designed to play with piano accompaniment, but if you don't have a piano player to play with, they are very nice just to work on your own. And similar to that, and you're going to see for both these two, I'm going to recommend the more difficult ones as well. Paul Harris has a series called Music Through Time. In fact, in the beginning level, I'll add to my written list the lower grades for that one. Grade 3 and 4 I would consider good intermediate level, and he does have a more advanced one as well. And these are also solos that are selected. The Music Through Time, what's fun about that is he's taken 500 years of Western music and kind of compiled it for clarinet, or many hundred years. If it's not going back to 500 years, I'll just take a quick look at this one. This one starts in the late 1500s, so pretty well. Anyway, nice variety of music, again designed to play with piano. Another book that I really like is called Take 10, Popular Pieces from Bach to Bacharach, arranged by James Ray. So this has some classical music, some jazz music, some modern music, some classical music, and again, they work great all by yourself. The melody's written in a really nice way that you could just sit down and play it and enjoy it. If you have a piano player to play with, then it sort of adds that performance to it, where you can have it be a more complete piece. Now, we also have what we would call etudes or studies for clarinet, which are pieces designed to play for clarinet alone. I really like this one, The 60 Rambles for Clarinet by Leon Lester. It's one of the first books I studied from as a young clarinetist, and Leon Lester was a very good clarinetist and teacher himself. So these are all original etudes that he's written. They're pretty short. On a typical page, maybe you'll get 3 short pieces. They're fun, they have nice character, so they're not quite your typical etude that sounds like you're just doing scale practice. They have some interesting melody to them. I personally, again, love playing duets, and if you have someone to play duets with, that's wonderful. This book here is a real classic, Selected Duets for Clarinet, Volume 1, arranged by Jaime Voxman. And these ones, they are duets, but again, for the most part, you can just play the top part and enjoy them by yourself. So I'll often assign these to my students, and they enjoy working on them, and our lessons will play them together as well. But I just think there's value in it, even just as a solo book, to kind of go through and play the melodies in it. I also have here another duet book that I love. This one is a bit more interactive, so it doesn't work as well for a standalone. It's meant to have 2 players. Great piece to have, even if you're a more advanced player. They're lovely duets, they sound great. If you're more advanced, you'll find them pretty easy to play. If you're not as advanced, they don't take a lot of work to put together. So Clarinet Twosome, again by Leon Lester. And one more series to look at, also by Jaime Voxman, Chamber Music for 3 Clarinets. This one, although you could kind of pick out the melody by yourself, it is more of an ensemble book. And there also is, you'll see when we get to our next category, there's a level 2 of this book. One other clarinet music resource I'd like to mention to you, that again I have a link for it in the write-up underneath this video, is virtualsheetmusic.com. Now this is a place that has all kinds of music arrangements for all kinds of instruments, but when I went in there today at least and looked at the clarinet music, there's over 5,000 pieces there, and they have levels right from very beginning level to very advanced. There's a bunch of mainstream, serious clarinet major solo pieces there, like the Mozart Concerto, the Debussy Premier Rhapsody, the Brahms Sonatas, among many other things. So there's a lot of great advanced standard repertoire, but there's also lots of easier solo books. And there's a lot of theme things, whether it's 4th of July music or Christmas music or wedding music, or think of any theme you want. You're likely to find a book there that's some music that would appeal to you. Some of it's solo music, some of it's clarinet and piano, some of it's ensembles, whether it's a bunch of clarinets or clarinets with other different instruments. And it works as you can either buy a piece by itself and there'll be a dollar value on it and you download it onto your computer to print at home, or you can get a membership. And at the time of this video screening, it's around $25 a year, and that gives you unlimited downloads. So I suppose if you had lots of paper, you could download all 5,000 songs and just enjoy them on your clarinet. But I'll put a link to that in this video below, because I think it's worth exploring if you like to have a variety of resources easily available to you. And your membership's good for an entire year, so you can sort of approach the birthday music and the theme music as those holidays come up for you. looking at a slightly more advanced level, and again, many of these resources within one book have a range of easier to harder music, so it's kind of a loose way of ranging it. But another really good solo book to look at is called The Solos for the Clarinet Player. I think it actually has a bright green cover on the piano part. I just have the clarinet part here. Arranged by Arthur Christman. And again, these are solos for clarinet with piano accompaniment, but for the most part, a lot of them sound great just to work on by yourself. And recently they came out with a new edition that has a CD with a real piano playing the piano accompaniment. So you can actually, once you get it up to speed, just play along with the accompaniment. And it's a really nice mixture, again, of pieces that were originally written for clarinet and some that are transcribed from other instruments. But lots of great repertoire in that book. More along the studies end, we have kind of a classic clarinet book, The Melodious and Progressive Studies for Clarinet, Book 1 by David Height. Some of these are relatively easy, but some of them are quite hard. And what I like about it is it has a bunch of different sections in it, many different keys. So when you're working on your clarinet technique, if you wanted to play something in 3 sharps, there's lots of things in 3 sharps, or 3 flats, or whatever it is. You can kind of look through, and it very clearly at the beginning of each piece tells you, for example, this one's in G major, and it shows us the lowest note and the highest note. So it kind of gives you an idea of the range. It really lets you target in on the areas you're working on. And it has at the back just a really nice resource, a bunch of scales in thirds and most of the major and minor scales in all keys. So it's just kind of a nice quick resource within one book there. Other good chamber music, there's the Chamber Music for 3 Clarinets, Volume 2. Really excellent trios if you're working in a group of players. Some of those other books that I mentioned earlier, you'll see on the resource list, are solo books that come in more advanced forms, like The Music Through the Ages by Paul Harris and Thea King's Clarinet Solo. So they have a more advanced one that would also be great to play by yourself, but there is a piano accompaniment part if you like. All right, my next category I'm loosely saying is even more advanced. I'll pull out some resources. So back to the Royal Conservatory listing, they have an etude book for levels 5 to 8. And what I like about this is it's a cross-section. They kind of have it categorized level 5, level 6, level 7, level 8. Now that's a little bit subjective, but generally it gets harder as we move through the book. They are taken from other well-known clarinet etude books. So there's Rose etudes, there's things from contemporary composers like James Ray, there's things like a Bach cello suite. So a whole range of styles of music in here. And if you were to play through it and there was something that you really loved, odds are it might come from another book of clarinet etudes where you could then explore that composer and go forward from there. So to me, it's a great way to introduce yourself to a lot of different kinds of music and styles. It's a really good book. For those of you who are more into jazz, and I realize most of my resources that I'm presenting today are classical, this is kind of a neat book. Artie Shaw's Jazz Technique. This one is volume 2, 14 clarinet etudes. And I actually haven't explored book 1, so it could be that that one's very good as well. But these are written by Artie Shaw, and they're tricky. They're advanced. They're kind of jazzy etudes. If you don't play a lot of jazz, it's a great way to kind of get into the music. It has a lot of great technique things in here, and a lot of my students have really enjoyed playing out of this book. Probably 2 classics in the clarinet world are the Rose Studies for Clarinet. And again, these are actually also taken from other composers, but they've become some of the staples in the clarinet world of learning music. So there is the 40 Studies for Clarinet. Usually they're published in 2 separate books. This particular version, arranged by Jean and David Height, has all 40 in one book. Those are good. Also the 32 Rose etudes. And there's etudes being the French way of saying studies. So whether it says studies or etudes, basically the same material inside. There are many editions out there. They all basically have the same content. This particular one has a CD in it that has a piano accompaniment that they created to go with them, which is a really original idea. They were designed to stand alone, but it has that. And it also has a CD where you can listen to the piano accompaniment and play along. So it's kind of a nice enhancement to the typical Rose etudes. Another book that I'll mention, I don't have it in front of me because I think I loaned it out to a student, is the Cavallini Caprice, which are fun, virtuosic Italian studies. It's kind of like the Paganini violin stuff for clarinet. They're very challenging, but they really sound great and they're fun to play. So I'll put a link to it in the right up below. Another good advanced one that's a lot of fun is the Advanced Studies for Clarinet by Victor Palaccia. And some of these are original etudes that he's written for clarinet. Many others are inspired by composers. It might say after Ludwig van Beethoven or a particular piece. There are some Darius Milhaud Scaramouche. So it's in themes that you would find in popular orchestral or piano pieces. And it's fun. These are also quite difficult. So some of these last few resources I'm showing you are challenging. One other etude book that I really like, I'm going to pull up here, is the 18 Etudes by Jean-Jean. Paul Jean-Jean's written some really virtuosic clarinet solos that have lots of flary arpeggios and lots of fun to play. And he has these etudes, and I find them to be very interesting. He's written a few things that are very nice, but they are tricky to play. The slow ones are very expressive and beautiful. He's not shy to go into very hard key signatures, but they're very interesting to play. What I like about them is even though they definitely give the fingers a really good workout, I feel like there's a lot of expression inherent in them, and as a player and a performer, we can bring all kinds of expression into the music in these etudes. All right, that's just a sampling. Literally, I was just kind of going through my filing cabinet and thinking, what would be some good music that you might want to know about? And these are all things that I really like. There's lots of other music that I like, and perhaps this is my chance to invite you to make your contributions to the discussion. There's a comments box under this video, and if there's music you love to play that you think others would like to know about, please feel free to write about it down there. We're all part of the big clarinet community here, and it's nice to share resources when we can. And I have an invitation for you. If you're not already a member of my Clarinet Mentors community, I invite you to join. It's totally free, very easy to do. You go to www.learnclarinetnow.com and you'll find a box just to enter your information. When you join the community, you'll get a link to a whole bunch of my educational videos, kind of like the one you're watching now. Most of them are more aimed at teaching you a particular skill on your clarinet to help you play more easily. And I have a newsletter that goes out probably every 3 weeks or so. Sometimes when I'm busy longer, sometimes I can get them out sooner, but about once a month you'll get a newsletter from me with a video. Also sharing some cool music or gear that I've come across that I think you might like, or recordings or special clarinet events. And if you don't like it, it's very easy to unjoin at any time. So again, I invite you to join that. I look forward to hearing from you, and thanks so much for watching today's video.